Testing the Waters, an online presentation of the FEC's Information Division. This presentation is intended to help individuals who are considering a run for federal office understand the campaign finance rules that apply to them during the pre-candidacy exploratory or testing the waters period. We'll begin by defining the term candidate, and then we'll describe the distinctions between testing the waters versus campaigning. Finally, we'll offer some tips for organizing your testing the waters effort. Most of us probably think of a candidate as someone who's running for office, and of course that's correct. But not everyone who meets this common sense definition of candidate meets the legal definition found in FEC regulations. Under those rules, a candidate is someone who has raised or spent more than $5,000 campaigning for federal office. Individuals who meet that definition must register with the FEC and file regular reports to disclose their campaigns, receipts, and disbursements. However, an exception to that rule allows individuals who are merely testing the waters for a possible candidacy to exceed the $5,000 threshold without having to register or file reports. This testing the waters exception will be the focus of the video. So what exactly does testing the waters mean? Essentially, it refers to the activities an individual may engage in to explore the feasibility of becoming a candidate. FEC regulations include examples of testing the waters activities, including conducting polls, making telephone calls, and traveling within the state or district. As long as the individual's activities are limited to exploring the viability of a potential candidacy and not campaigning, the testing the waters exemption applies and no FEC registration or reporting is required. Certain statements and activities indicate that an individual is no longer merely testing the waters, but is in fact campaigning. They include making or authorizing statements that refer to themselves as a candidate, Smith in 2026, or Smith for Senate, using general public political advertising to publicize their intention to run. This may include newspaper ads, commercials on broadcast television or cable, billboards, or phone banks. Raising more money than what is reasonably needed to test the waters or amassing funds, seed money, to be used after candidacy is established. Conducting exploratory activities over an extended period of time or shortly before the election. Or taking action to qualify for the ballot. Assuming the $5,000 registration threshold has been met, any of these activities would trigger candidacy and the attendant registration and the reporting requirements. Remember, the testing the waters provision is only a registration and reporting exemption. All of the money raised and spent to test the waters must comply with the limits and prohibitions of federal law. For example, a potential candidate cannot accept contributions from corporations or labor unions, and contributions from individuals must not exceed specified limits. It's also important to keep detailed records of all receipts and disbursements during the testing the waters period. That way, if candidacy is triggered, the campaign will be prepared to disclose all the activity on its first report. It's also a good idea to open a separate bank account for the testing the waters effort. If the individual becomes a candidate, that account can become the campaign account, required by federal law. If you decide to set up a testing the waters bank account, you'll need to contact the IRS to get a taxpayer ID number. When you establish the bank account, be sure to include exploratory or testing the waters in the name. As illustrated in these examples, failure to do so could trigger candidacy. Let's look at an example to see how the testing the waters exemption works. Carmen Diaz is interested in running for a seat in the House of Representatives. She is not sure if she has enough support to make a successful bid, so she wants to test the waters first. She collects money from family and friends, making sure that nobody gives more than the law allows. Before long, she's raised more than $5,000. She keeps records of how much each person gave her and when she received the money. She uses some of the money for travel around her district to gauge voters' interest in her potential candidacy. Throughout her travels, she's careful not to refer to herself as a candidate. She uses the rest of the money she raised to conduct an opinion poll. The results indicate she has good name recognition in her district. Based on the results, she announces her candidacy. By doing so, Ms. Diaz has crossed the line from testing the waters to campaigning. She has collected over $5,000. She must now register with the FEC as a candidate using Forms 1 and 2. All the money she raised and spent become contributions and expenditures that she must disclose on her first report filed with the FEC. What if Ms. Diaz had decided not to run for office? In that case, she would have no obligation to register with the FEC or to report the funds she received and spent for testing the waters activity. For more information on testing the waters, please click the link on the description for this video or scan the QR code. The Federal Election Commission is committed to encouraging compliance with federal campaign finance laws. In addition to the information we provide on our website, we maintain a toll-free information line you can call for help. We respond promptly to questions sent by email. And we host webinars on a variety of topics and post e-learning videos like this one on our website and YouTube channel. We encourage you to make use of these resources and look forward to serving you.